Oh, that's right. We've reached episode 40, just like the great E40 himself, the Bay Area rapper. Um, so, Chewie, this is, it was one thing making it to 10, but now we've done it four times. That's pretty
Yeah.
incredible. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like 40, this is coming into our third season. Well, we're going into our third season soon. It's pretty crazy how it started. Feels like it flew by. Like it feels like we kind of just started a couple weeks ago. And yeah, shout out to everyone that's still watching every week. Shout out to all the new people that join the league and check us out. And yeah, hopefully we can make it even better moving forward.
Yeah, and it starts with you, the viewer. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that button, support Rinkside. Let us get that sub. But let's talk about what the people are here for today. Chewy, what's going on in the corner?
Yeah. So as probably some of you guys know, just going through it again. Ran out of sick days for Rinkside though, so we're pushing through. But yeah, I don't know. Just this actually in Canada, or I guess in Ontario this week. This past weekend was like 30 degrees, which is pretty awesome. It's like it went from like 0 to 30 real quick. No spring, and then Monday hit, and now today it's snowing, and it was like minus something. So
Hmm.
that's just like Canada, Canada in a nutshell. It'll be sunny in the morning, and then all of a sudden it's hailing in the afternoon, and then the next day it's snowing. So I think that has an effect on everyone's health here, but actually pretty cool. On the weekend, April 15th, it was a National Hockey Card Day, so I went to my local hockey card establishment. You get a free pack of cards. I guess everyone does if you go into the store, so it was pretty cool. Just like a free pack of like, I don't know, cards that Upper Deck does. And one really cool card that I want to show off this week is one that I actually got graded recently. So I pulled this from a pack. So I packed it myself. I didn't
Oh,
buy it. It's a Young Guns Shane Wright. So if anyone who keeps up with real hockey, he was projected to go first overall, and obviously Montreal passed on him, and I think Arizona as well, and then he got drafted by the Seattle Kraken. So it's his Young Guns rookie card. It's also a clear cut, so it's like a variant. You can see
hmm.
right through the card. So it brings up the value a ton. It was graded almost perfect, so 10 is like mint. So we got
Yeah.
9.5. So it's pretty cool because this card ungraded goes for about like 500 US.
What?
With the grade, it should bring it up the value. So I'm hoping to sell it around like $1,000, maybe a little more. I might be overvaluing it at that point, but I don't know. I kind of want to sell it for over $1,000. So
Hell
if
yeah,
anyone's a
man.
Kraken fan, hit me up. And yeah, that was a pretty exciting pull this week.
Set that milestone and get to it. Let me, like, hypothetically, if I were to say get into hockey cards and
Yeah.
understandably, I would need to be saving a lot of them, but maybe I could find ones like that are, $400 or $500 ungraded. I pay, I don't know, $50, $100 to get it graded, and then it's worth $1,000. That piques my interest. Do you think this is something a novice could get into?
Yeah, it's I think you definitely got to understand. So I guess the grades may not bring it up that much depending on the card.
Of course.
So, uh, for example, at a 9 grade, so this one's a 9.5. At a 9, you're pretty much at par of selling it ungraded. So
Oh,
that's also the risk that you take. So the grade has four what do you call it? Like criteria. So the corners, the edges, the surface, and the centering. So the corners, obviously, like how nice are the corners of the card? The edge, like if there's any like visible marks, and unfortunately, a lot of the times when you like either buy cards or pack cards, there's a chance that a corner is like almost dented, or when you open the pack, you accidentally like scratch the surface of the card. So it's possible. A lot of people do it. It's also the risk you take if you get a card graded and you get like a 9 or lower. You won't get your money back on the card probably. Um,
Mm.
but at a 9.5, you kind of like add a little bit, and then a 10 could really shoot up the value. In terms of the cards to get graded, you want like the rookie cards. So sometimes you have to sit on them. For example, like Shane Wright, he was just drafted and he played his first season. So if I hold on to it, it may go up in value depending on how his career goes. If he like tanks his career, the card value will go down from what it is currently.
Damn.
If he turns into like an insane player, then the card value goes up. So
Damn.
it's a lot of gambling too.
Hell yeah.
Um, yeah, so I would say like it's possible. You kind of you got to keep an eye on like the real life hockey though. I'd say, and you need to have like a good grasp of like what players are going up in value, because even it goes by season by season. Like if one player has a really good season and he's young, then his card is going to shoot up. But if the next season he's like god awful, then like that value will go down right away.
Right.
So it's almost like a stock market.
Yeah.
Like there's websites that like have the top 10 hot cards of the season, the top 10 like declining cards. It's like so variable, but it's a really cool hobby. I think as a person, if you're trying to flip the cards, definitely a lot of research. If you just like have a player or two that you want to collect, kind of like what I do, that's also fun too. And then one day I might sell it all for a certain amount, because there's some cards that I got at a really good deal that I know I could flip for like double the price.
Mm. Damn. No, that's sweet. It sounds super enticing. I like the idea of a player's valuation, like performance impacting valuation, where there's like
Yeah.
parity between those two. Um,
Yeah.
in
And it
the
keeps like interesting to
mhm.
like if you watch hockey or if you don't watch hockey, then like it kind of gets you into it. Like if you have a card that you want the value to go up, it's like, hey, man, now I might keep up with that player or that team.
Right. And I'm wondering, to me, like I still play fantasy football. I actually won the last year, but I was on a 4 year cold streak. But before that, there was this 4 to 6 year golden period where I won fantasy football every single year.
Oh
And
wow.
the I never watched a single game, maybe like parts of a game while I'm out getting wings or something, but like I never
Yeah.
sat down and watched football. I did it purely based on analytics of the player's performance and skill categories like, reception or, yards, touchdowns, things like that. So
Yeah.
what I'm wondering is like, and it's not to say I don't want to watch pro hockey and like get into it. That's like something I do want to get involved in, like a real sport. But what I am like thinking is potentially I could say this guy had 30 goals, 20 assists, you know, 40 hits, and like somehow say that makes him a good player or a bad player. Do you know what I mean? Is that possible?
Um
Like tracking the player's stats of the cards you have?
yeah. I think yeah, that's possible. I think it's I think with hockey also, because hockey is one of the biggest sport cards, like sport trading cards. There's so many different like um I don't know how it would like there's different like sets of cards to collect that I think depending it depends on like who like what person like the person that wants to buy the card. I think the price, like in terms of pricing, it's pretty stable to be honest. Like in terms of you're not going to get much fluctuation unless, like, let's say one year it's 40 goals, the next is 50. That wouldn't, I'd say, like change the card valuation that much. I think it's like the player going from a mediocre player to like a generational player, like a top player on the team, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Like once like all the older players, those cards are kind of set in stone in terms of the pricing, the range it goes for. It's the new players coming into the league that if you buy their cards early and depending how they do will bring up the value.
Mm.
But I mean there's also football, like there's football cards and soccer and basketball. I
Base,
don't think they're as like
baseball.
big. But yeah, and baseball and even at like F1, there's F1
Oh,
trading
okay.
cards. Like golf, wrestling. There's even like Marvel. Like there's so many that you can kind of get into. So if you have like a preferred sport, and I think hockey's a little tough too because I think sports like baseball and football, the stats are like pretty clear. Like if you let's say get 10 touchdowns, like it's pretty easy to track like what kind of player you are. Whereas hockey, like you still could be a very good player even though you don't get 10 goals because there's so much more that goes into hockey, like the hits aspect, like just being like, I don't know, a good guy in the locker room. I know that's not like as tracked for stuff like that, but I think hockey has so much external stats and external things that play a part in a player. Whereas like baseball, it's like, can you hit dingers or not? I don't know. I guess that's the way it kind of seems to me.
Well, I can't say I'm an expert in really any sport. I would say maybe simulation, if you want to call that a sport. I think it's more of like a slice of like the cake. There's just
Yeah.
different layers of it. Um, but I think it's super interesting, and we should talk more about it in the future.
Yeah. And if you want to try getting into pro hockey watching right now, playoffs just started yesterday for the NHL. So this is like some of the best hockey you'll ever watch
Okay.
uh during the season. So if you end up watching a game or two during the playoffs, it's super exciting to see these games. So might be worth, I don't know if you have like cable or you stream like, I don't know, through those websites. There's a ton of websites you'll be able to find that.
Yeah. Yeah. We have sports channels here in Chicago. We pay a little bit extra. I was against it originally, but the girlfriend wanted them, and good choice. So yeah, we've got the channels. Um,
Sweet.
yeah, but it yeah. So as far as in Pautie's Penthouse, it's interesting that you talked about like economies of things, and one of the things that have become economies for me is like the Lego market. So I wanted to show three Legos I've got on deck. You know, I just picked this bad boy up today off of Facebook Marketplace.
Oh,
Check
that's
out,
pretty sweet.
look at that big ass mother tank.
That's from the the newest I guess 3 movies, right?
This is like Knights of Ren transport ship. So I'm not
Okay.
but it's got yeah, I guess Ren and Ray.
Yeah, yeah. So the new stuff. That's pretty sweet. That's
Okay,
pretty sweet.
next up, look at this bad boy, Thai
Damn.
bomber, Thai bomber from the old school movies as well as the new one. But the biggest one, and let me tell you, I'm saving this one for a rainy day because it looks so sick. But I got this bad boy.
Oh, nice.
It's like
How
I've
many
got
pieces is that one?
this is 1,267 pieces.
Okay. Okay. Are you ever gonna do, I think what's the biggest one? Is that the Millennial Falcon? You ever
The
gonna
Millennium Falcon is the one. There's actually a bigger version of this AT-AT that's like uh to give you it's but it costs like $760 and it's
Yeah, yeah.
but it's a big boy and I don't know how many pieces, 6,000 maybe.
Damn. Yeah, I think I've seen the big, that's not the biggest one, right? Because I think I've seen like the massive ATs
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Let's check this out. $850 and it's got see how many pieces. This is where on like Joe Rogan, he's got like he tells that guy to throw up the screen and we can see what he's looking at on the web.
Oh yeah.
We need to like do that. Get our own guy like that. Anyways, it's like a
Producer, yeah.
6,785 pieces.
Jeez. So I think the Millennium Falcon, the biggest one, is like almost 8,000, maybe like 7,500. But that would
That's
be so cool as well.
yeah, that'd be sick.
I might damn, now you got me like hyped up for this. I might have to get my hands on some Lego.
I'm telling you, it's so satisfying to build them because there's instruction, you execute, and like before you like comes to life, this thing that you remember from, the movies. I don't know. At least I did. Like,
Yeah.
I was like a kid when the original ones came. I don't know if they came out or I watched them later. I forget exactly when.
Yeah, I did a ton of Legos as a kid, and I remember my brother and his friend like came in and like destroy like, well, not destroy, but they were playing with like the Legos, and obviously they broke. And then I think at that point was like the last time I ever did like the Lego set, and I just did like my own, like the like you had the random bricks and like built whatever you wanted kind of Lego.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, sad day in time. It's
I had a room full of all these different sets that I created. And when I was young, I used to have like really bad temper tantrums. And I remember like I had this like it was kind of like a whip, and I went into my room and I smashed every single Lego structure that I had. And it killed me like the next day. I was like so regretful. But from the
oh,
ashes of all of that, I found out, okay, now I've got a bunch of bricks. And from there, I was able to like apply creation and build a bunch of new stuff, from that. I don't know. That was my recollection with Legos.
sweet.
Yeah, man. All right.
All right.
Well,
Well,
so
yeah,
move
let's
along
take it away.
to our transactions.
Yeah, so pretty much like the last transactions of the season. Nothing crazy, but a couple guys released. Kevin Jiggins, that one was, I don't know, kind of unfortunate. He joined back as a free agent because he left the league and then missed every progression since joining. So that was a little annoying. I guess from a like a league standpoint, like if you're joining back, I feel like you just got to commit and just do your progressions. It's super easy. Anyways, also Robert missed progressions. So Berlin and Beijing released their two forwards, and lucky for Harito Ichiri, he gets signed by the Beijing Bucks to play the last three games of the season, and Jake Toxins as well for Berlin. So they'll play the last three games of the minors season. Unfortunately, both teams are also eliminated, so they won't see any playoff time. But that's your transactions
Well, there they are.
season.
Yeah, good for those two people to get 3 games and, low stakes hockey. Hopefully, their coaches put them right on the top line and gave them that whirlwind experience they were hoping for. But let's move along to the standings. And now, our conferences.
All right, so we have everyone set at 47 games right now, which is pretty awesome. I think currently Tennessee and Albuquerque are playing, but there is so much playoff implications going on this week. We're going to start off at just at the teams that clinched. So both conferences, Alaska, Las Vegas, Miami, Copenhagen. We've already know they've all clinched. Miami and Copenhagen also both clinched their division win. So they'll get home ice advantage for at least the first round. Alaska and Vegas are fighting for theirs. And now we'll go to the eliminated teams. So we've seen a few more early this week. Honolulu, Tennessee, North Bay, Norfolk, Rome, and Boston all eliminated. Now the bottom four teams, which are, I'd say, pretty set. Tennessee, North Bay, Boston, and Rome. They all get an extra protection pick in the expansion draft this year. So, hey, good for them in terms of being able to retain more players. Now, we'll go to the fight for the Rocket. There's two playoff spots left. Albuquerque, San Diego, and Redwater all fighting for it. Right now, Albuquerque and San Diego tied at 54 points. Albuquerque has the upper hand on goal differential, and right now they're winning 1-0 with half the game left against Tennessee. So if they get that, that would almost, I mean, they'd be pretty close to clinching playoffs. And I think San Diego or Redwater play again later tonight. I'll check that in a sec. In terms of the Mr. Hockey side, we have Florence, Jacksonville, and Turku. Florence just played Tennessee and they got their win. So that pretty much gets them the clinch on goal differential, unless somehow Turku gains 29 goals on Florence and Florence loses the rest of their games this week. But let's just, for the sake of make sense and easiness, Turku's fighting for Jacksonville for that last spot. And to confirm, what I was saying earlier. Redwater does play next, and then Turku and Florence play together in the 5th game tonight. So Turku pretty much needs to win out their season to even have a chance, which is still pretty slim. So I'd say it's almost set in stone, but crazier things have happened. And then I mean, what time? We could talk about next week what the playoff brackets would be because there's still a lot of change that can happen. But that's pretty much your conferences. In terms of the divisions, I mean, not much else to say. Miami, Copenhagen both clinched their division. Alaska and Las Vegas fighting to clinch theirs for home ice advantage, and then Albuquerque and Redwater both fighting for playoffs and their division clinch. So, I mean, it kind of looks like Central's the weakest division this season with only one team with a positive goal differential at 1, and everyone else is at negative. And I'd say probably the strongest division again this season is Europe or maybe Pacific, since there's 3 teams fighting for that. 3 teams that might see playoffs in the Pacific this year, and the Atlantic is, I'd say, pretty strong as well.
Well said, well done. Just like, actually, I'm going to have a medium rare, but I was going to say like the steak I'm about to cook later tonight, but yeah, I'm going to cook it a little, not so hot on the griddle. Anyways,
yeah, before you go, sorry, I'm going to stop you right there. Just I don't know, I don't even know what word that is. Anyways, just want to call out Tennessee live. Just scored 2 goals within like 30 seconds. Now they have the lead 2-1 versus Albuquerque. So Albuquerque needs to step it up if they want to stay in the playoff hunt.
oh
Anyways,
yeah.
back to your regular scheduled programming
Oh,
for the
the
minor
yeah.
standings.
Yo, that's sick. Yo, I like that. Oh, nice. Yeah, that was the Chewy update. We gotta close
Chewie
those.
live update.
Chewy live. All right, so we've got a Y, which I'm assuming Chewy. What is
Vision clinch.
division clinch? Warsaw 51 points. What do these X's mean?
X's means playoff clinch.
Playoff clinch. Tokyo, Sydney, and Iceland, and eliminated were Malmo, Berlin, Wellington, and Beijing. Well done. Congratulations. All right, moving along to our power play and penalty kills. We have not much turnover from the previous week, except for, Las Vegas coming up from number 9 to number 6. It sounds like they heard our Rinkside advice and made some changes to their special teams. So, again, the Rinkside Consulting Services is always open, for those that are interested. When it comes to face-offs, taking a gander down at the spot on the ice, we've got nothing major here except for San Diego dropping from 10 to 12, wondering if that's going to hamper them in their playoff contention. When it comes to the league leaders, of course, we've got the live updated stats. Chester Chess with a 5-goal lead on goals. Assists, we've got Geralt Winkler, who's overtaken Leathers with 37. Leathers in second with 36. Catherine Kamenev with 34. And let's not forget Telemax Scarborough with 33. So over in points, we have a much larger difference in contention. David Leathers at the top of the helm with 57. And then there's a 3-way tie between Chester Chess, Hank Falco, Catherine Kamenev, all with 51. And can't forget about Voodoo with 50, lurking right on the perimeter. And who knows, sometimes stats just need to be updated. When it comes to our rookies, we have goals leader with Stig Magnus, 2-way tie between Ryan Jones and Andrew Payne with 6 apair. Then assist leader Jerry Jackson, Dank Turtle in second. Points leader Stig Magnus again with 15 points, and Jerry Jackson with 14. Is Jerry Jackson still in the league?
He is. He actually he progressed the last week of the season, so
Oh,
he is in it. Yeah, so good for him for coming back, and yeah, shout out to the league leaders, Stig, leading those forwards. But like I mentioned before, a couple players there like Ryan Jones and Dank Turtle. They've played less games this season. Ryan Jones only played 27 games, and he only has what, like 4 less points than Stig. So it just kind of
Oh,
goes to think, like, if he played the full season, would he be running away with this? And yeah, we interrupt your regular scheduled program with Tennessee scoring another goal and Albuquerque scoring one right before the end of the period. So we're now 3-2 going into the third.
damn. Well, going into our second segment is our deep dives. And these are the last two teams that we have to deep dive. So let's dive in.
All right, Copenhagen. I don't know much about this team, to be honest. Uh, but oh, obviously it's your one truly Chewie Canadians team. Um, won't spend too much time on this because I'm not really sure what else. It's weird when you're talking about your own team, I think. But Copenhagen has quite a number of pending free agents. It looks like about 8 pending free agents this offseason. Well over the cap as well for next season. So a lot of big overall cuts will be happening. Um, but they've got the key pieces locked in with a couple of their top defense, their goalie, and yeah, their top forwards. The one being David Leathers as well as the captain. You know, the goat as we call him in this league, just how dominant he's always been. And yeah, I think with Copenhagen, I mean, for, personally, like I've always tried to build the team pretty balanced. So we have a number of bigger defense and a number of smaller one. And then in terms of forward, we've got anyone from 6'9", 269, one of the biggest forwards in the league, all the way down to 5'7", 145 to one of the smallest. Um, Personally, when I'm looking at my team build, I think balance is key. You want to have a good mix of big forwards, you know, to help the team, you know, kind of grind it out in front of the net and not get like just pushed around. And you also want the small guys to kind of like steal the puck, weave in and out through the defense, and put up some points. So yeah, I mean that's all I can kind of say about Copenhagen.
Well, well said, and well represented. And now let's let the numbers speak for themselves. Coming up on first, we have hits. Copenhagen has put up 633 hits this season. That ranks 11th across the league. But when it comes to the team, Shane Knox has put up the most hits with 113. Knox has the most points amongst defensemen on the team with 17. That includes 2 goals and 15 assists. Leading the team in overall production is David Leathers with a whopping 57 points this season. That's first amongst points league leaders. Leathers has put up 21 goals and 36 assists. That's second amongst league leaders for assists. Leathers is second for points per 60 with 3.66 and first in plus minus with 36. Leathers is supported by Amelia Rose and Grizzle Bear, who have put up 43 and 40 points this season, respectively. Rose sits tied ninth amongst goals league leaders this season with 22, and Bear sits fourth amongst shots on goal leaders with 148. When it comes to the special teams, Copenhagen sits third overall with a 6th rated power play and a 3rd rated penalty kill. And in terms of face-offs, Copenhagen sits 6th with a 51.7% face-off win rating. But finally, we have back to the stats. Our goalie, Rose, continues to perform, ranking 5th in save percentage leaders with a 0.899 and 3rd in goals against average with a 2.01. Well done. Pulling up our next roster.
Yeah, so now we got the other yours truly, Potty's team, the Miami Maccabees. In terms of free agents this season, as we could see, they have about 8 as well that will be possibly on the market. And a couple trades this season, you'll see some ex Copenhagen players as well. But one of the key things to look at is their defense. They have 4 pending free agents on defense and and their goalie. So it'd be interesting to see whether Pawtai decides to try to sign everyone back, if he's going to look to retool his defense and goalie. Rumblings are that that's a big part of his team. So obviously he wants to keep as many players as possible. And on forward, Max Scarborough, one of the trades that he made this offseason with Alaska to send CJ Beamer. He's been one of his top forwards as well, top centers. So we'll see if he's able to retain Scarborough as well. Luckily, Pawtai has a ton of forwards locked in, so I don't think there's any worries on that end. And in terms of size, one of the biggest defense in the league, set of defense in the league, smallest one being 5'6", 208. So that's a great way to build the back end. And in terms of even the forwards, the smallest forward Miami has is 5'11", 192 in Parker Minion. So just a strong built team. I think a lot of people as well didn't think Miami would be where they are, seeing as saved a lot of cap this season. They retained actually all their incentive points. I think a lot of people thought that because of the players they lost, they wouldn't be where they are now. So big shout out to Miami, Pawtai, and Parker for putting on a show this season and being one of the top teams in the Atlantic.
Sweet. Well, on behalf of the team, thank you for those commending words. I can talk objectively about my own team, from terms of, what are we looking at first? Oh, hits. The numbers. Hits, Miami ranks second overall with 773 hits. That's, 43 less, 33, 23 less than Las Vegas. So not too far away. When it comes to the stats, leading the team in hits is Money Mills with 131 this season. Mills has 17 points up for the team. That's first, and also the first spot on our league leaders for penalty minutes with 52. So just showing what a force to be reckoned with Mills is. And I will say, I saw the penalty that was like a 10-minute one, and it was BS, man. He didn't deserve that. Anyways, the top scoring defenders for the Maccabees is Dime Hardaway with 30 points this season, all of which have been assists. Hardaway is tied for fifth in overall points with 30, and is the only defenseman across the league to crack the top 10 list. Leading the team in points is a close race between Voodoo with 49 points, 29 goals, 20 assists, Outlaw Owens with 47 points, 22 goals, 25 assists, and Telemax Scarborough with 47 points as well, 14 goals, 33 assists. Across the league, Dew is ranked second in goals this season with 29, tied for fifth with points, and eighth in points per 60. He's also second in power play goals with 7, and first in puck possession time leader. Scarborough is tied for fourth in assists with 33 and seventh in points with 47. Owens is tied for ninth in goals, seventh in points, and sixth in puck possession time leaders across the league. When it comes to the special teams of the Maccabees, it's well crafted. From a power play perspective, they're ranked number 2 and a 6th rated penalty kill. Finally, one before finally, we have faceoffs. Maccabees excel here, third overall with a 54.1% rating. And let's talk about last, the Lasik, who is tied for second in shutouts with 6 this season. He boasts a 0.896% save percentage with 6 overall and holds a goals against average of 2.27. That's 5th overall. What a contributor to the success of the overall team. And with that, we're going to move along to our plays of the week.
And the puck departs the zone. He's got a little jump. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Fantastic goal! As he extends the stick, and he moves it up to David. Moves it to the middle. He scores! What a goal! Jacksonville's won the draw and they'll go to work. Scores! There's your overtime winner! The goalie's barely in position here. That puck is snapped back so quickly, he can't react to the shot. Inside the defensive zone, they get the puck. Great poke check on the reach. There's a chance in front! He scores the chance in front! He scores! What a play! Take that play with the pass. Las Vegas has long been a great defensive team, and they've done it again. He scores! Team, and they've done it again. He scores! Perfect timing.
Well, those were some pretty crazy plays of the week, if I don't say so myself. We're now going to move along to our interview with Jesse Pinkman. And hey, we're here with Jesse Pinkman, the famous GOHLS up-and-comer. Mr. Pinkman, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I just got done with a little work, so not the best, but I'm ready for this.
Nice. That's awesome. It's good to always put in work and get rewarded, and you've been putting a lot into the league. So I'm really, thrilled to have you on here, as I really think you're like an up and coming star, potential up and coming new commissioner. Who knows, but let's just take our steps back to our humble beginnings. Please tell us a little bit about who you are as a player and who you play for.
Oh, I don't really have like a big backstory on my player. I really just joined this league with a bunch of my friends, like Alex. I honestly don't know his name. I'm pretty sure he's under the Breaking Bad theme. But I play for Tokyo. I started off playing for Wellington, which is real. I really like playing there because for the people who know me in real life, they know my last name, and it's a unique last name for sure. And because then I was on the Farmers, which their logo is a chicken, but anyways, Jesse Pinkman, it's become my nickname, which is really weird because I've usually just been going by nobody in other leagues. It's what I've been for the past like 3 years, and then all of a sudden people are calling me Jesse or Pinkman. It's something something I'm really not used to, but it'll wear in.
Hey, it's like if you are your own brand, over time you extend yourself into new countries, and like Walmarts aren't called Walmart in South Africa or in I don't think they're in China anymore, but like in Asia or somewhere. So consider it like an extension of yourself, something to grow into. But what brought you into the league?
I think I was in voice chat with Nils Godlander one night, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm in this sick league called GOHLS. It's hockey based. You don't have to do too much. You guys should join." And so me, Ferk, Alex all joined that same night under the Breaking Bad theme, and it's kind of just, I don't know, it just exploded with like my interest, as a lot of you can tell.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and we're gonna dive into there. But yet, so I just want to confirm the Walter White, Saul Goodman, and Gustavo Fring. Those are all like your compadres, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
we all know each other, but fun fact is I've never watched an episode of Breaking Bad. And I don't think any of us who are like under the theme have either.
Well, it's something when you're ready to watch it. It's a great series. People put it up there with The Wire, Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Planet Earth, at least on my my list. Well, but okay, so oh damn. Well, time to learn in the future. So how have you involved yourself in the league besides being a player?
Majorly with stats. Like, I volunteered for that 1 week, and I'm pretty sure I did probably 50% of that week's. And then the following week, I did probably 75. Easily got me up to like 80 total stats in like the first 2 weeks. And then I kind of fell off for a couple of weeks. And now I'm back because I found a way to manage college classes, a job, and now goals. And I'm about to break that 200 stats threshold. And then I just recently started doing progressions for you guys as well. I tried to dabble in some graphics. I can still do that, but it didn't really stick right away. I'm probably going to do something if I end up going to Sapporo for a possible GM job here in the future.
Well, you heard it here first. And, if you talk about being a GM, being an owner, being a leader in the league, it's about that level of commitment that you make where you find things that you're passionate about and you apply yourself. So I commend you for having that, level of a workload and to still, make these contributions. I think you're someone to be emulated. I'm wondering, like, you also did streaming recently. What kind of, drove you to progress from stats to streaming?
Oh, I forgot about that one. So I was teasing around with Captain Wicked a bunch about possibly buying an Xbox, and my entire motivation, quote unquote, was that I would just fuck up his career. And so I bought the Xbox, and I instantly messaged him once I got to the car that it was over for him. And so I had the Xbox now. I started doing progressions, and then one day I saw that the stream was going to be delayed since I think it was Oni or Krieg wasn't able to, and I said I can step up if they need it, and they said sure. So I was excited to do that, and then once I started streaming, everyone started asking for commentary or if I was going to do commentary, and that just scared the crap out of me. I was not ready for that. Like, of all the thoughts that was going on, just setting all that up, commentary never even went through my mind. And so just to start thinking about that oh my, I was considered, but I was not ready.
I've been in the same boat. I've only done streaming once under the same circumstances that you described. And yeah, like, I think Wicked egged me on. He's like, there better be some, Pawtai commentary. And I was nervous because I thought I was going to screw things up. And, when I was doing the stats, I did make like a mistake or two. Fortunately, it was like the ones you could easily fix. But it's, putting yourself out there is something to say. So what do you hope to achieve out of your contributions to the league this season?
This season, I don't really know, but long run, I'm going for it all. So
going for it all. Well, there you go. And where do you want to be next season?
Next season, well, talking with Yodi, they've shown interest in the GM job. They haven't confirmed it with me. I'm pretty sure like how it works is they have to get my player or something like that. I'm not totally sure yet, but I hopefully will end up there and just start producing even more. And then my goal with stats, as I've kind of half-wittingly joked, is 600 entries.
600 entry. How many total entries are there?
I don't know how many total, but I saw like a couple of weeks ago there was like 600 total entries at that point. So I know 600 is at least achievable.
Wow, that's fantastic. Putting in the work. And in regards to the GM role, if you wanted to be an owner of a team, the team would need to own you. But if because you're in the minors right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm no expert, right? I'm not a commissioner, but my understanding is that a general manager would not necessarily have to play for their team. So however that kind of worked out, I hope you get called up and, get to play on their team if that's what you want. And I think it would make the most sense, but just also sharing that, you could have the option to like remain in the minors, progress. So just a balanced perspective. But let me ask you like one final closing thought. Where do you see the league 5 years from now?
It's tough to think of where the league will be 5 seasons, 5 years from now. I at least hope it'll still be around, but the ambitions of Krieg, it seems like he wants to keep it a tight-knit, small community which it works because behind the scenes, it's a lot of work, especially with stats, and adding more teams next season is just going to be a little even more stressful on me. But depending on how how ambitious he gets, I could see this league easily growing at a faster pace than what league I come from, the VHL, because Be a Pro is just a lot more popular than the forum-based league that VHL is, because it's a lot harder to learn the VHL, and goals, you really just dive in and you get what you get right away. It's pretty simple.
That's an excellent point. And I think that is a good way to kind of close up our conversation. You know, you have a great perspective on the future. You're making your contributions today. I wish you and I appreciate your transparency in answering these questions. You were honest, and that's commendable. So any closing thoughts or shout outs you want to make before we move on to our next segment?
Shout out to my peeps in the VHL who might watch this. I don't know.
There you go. Well, shout out to them as well. And Pinkman, thanks for coming on. It's been real.
Thank you.
And we're back from our interview with Jesse Pinkman. What a great conversation, and best of luck to your future in the league. Chewie, it was fun doing this on episode 40. What do you think the next 40 episodes are going to look like?
Oh, man. Hopefully we keep growing, get some, like you said, would be cool to have a producer or something in the back end hitting us with those facts. Maybe some new segments, see what people like, and I don't know. Let's as the league grows, we grow, and if there's other I don't even know what podcasts or shows that come up for the league, some collaborations, and I think it always is good to have more information and a little bit of competition too.
Absolutely. We welcome anybody else that wants to create recurring content, or shit, man, if you only want to do it one time and just get the word out, we'll help support you. We're here to be a platform, not just, a show. We want to help other people grow on top of this. So with that, I'm going to send us out. Great episode, Chewie, and all the best.